Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to this tutorial of React. I have created a brand new repository over here, and let me just do the npm I first, and then I will run this code. So let's just get started. So when it comes to the React context, so context hook is basically used to manage the state globally, and you can use the use state hook also with this, and reducer hook also, which we will see in the future classes. So it's a way in which we can provide accessibility or provide variable or data which will be accessed globally throughout the application. Okay, so this could be done with the help of the React context hook. So let me just run the application as of now. So this is the simplest hook so far, which you can make use of. So we have this context hook. Let me just remove the CSS. Okay, perfect. So let's just get started. So when it comes to the context hook, so what I will do is first of all I will create one separate folder only over here. The folder structure I will maintain. I will give the name as a context over here, and in this context I will create one context over here, and then I'll show it to you all. So first of all, I will give the name of the context as user context .js. Sorry. So user context.js. So when it comes to the creating the context over here, we can give the name as a JSX also. So when it comes to the difference between the JS and JSX, so as can be seen, there is a JSX extension over here. So JSX is nothing but JavaScript XML. So if you are writing the HTML code and all, like autocomplete becomes easier. Okay, so now if I'm just hitting the H1, the autocomplete becomes easier and all. But if we are just naming the file as app.js, you will feel the difficulty. You might have to write a whole code manually. This is not actual difference. Like JS stands for the JavaScript XML, which helps you to write the HTML code instead of the JavaScript and all. Okay, so extensions really doesn't matter, but I mostly like making use of JSX instead of JS. So I have created this user context, and first of all, I will import what I want, and I'll be in need of the create context, which I will be importing from the React. So once I'm done with this, then I will export the variables from here. Okay, so what I will do, I will say export constant user context, and I will make use of the create context over here. Okay, so name of my context is basically the user context. So over here, I have declared the constant user context is equal to create context. I've created the user context variable over here and exporting it because I want to use this variable outside of this file. So that's all, that is what I'm doing over here. So now I will create a provider. Okay, so I will say export constant user provider, and when it comes to the making use of the user provider, I will make use of the function over here. Okay, so something like this, I will make use of the function. And when it comes to this function will return something. And I will write the code first and I'll explain you all the later. User context. So this is my user context provider over here, and it will take the input as a children. Okay, and the same children I will pass over here. So what this basically is, your user context I have created and the user provider I have created. So this user provider, what I have created over here, I have to wrap this around the main component. And my main component is over here, which is the main.jsx. So let me just tell you what is going on over here. So I will do one thing. I will copy this. I will come to the main.jsx. I'm importing that over here, and whatever variable I have imported, I will wrap this around my main app. Okay. This is my opening tag, and this is my what is going on over here. Why it is throwing. Okay. So this is my user provider opening tag and this is my user provider closing tag. So what is happening over here is this is the opening tag and this is the closing tag and inside of that goes are this app component. Okay. So this app component is basically our children over here. So if I coming over here, it is taking this parameters children. This children is nothing but this app component. Whatever that goes on inside of this opening and the closing tag that will work as a children. And to this children, we will be providing the value. Okay. So now when it comes to the providing the value, I can give that value over here. Okay. So I will say value and so I can give any sort of value. Okay, so as can be seen, this suggestion is coming over here. So for this purpose, if you want suggestions like this, I'm making use of this Tab9 AI, which makes the development process really very easy. So it will give you the suggestions and help you auto-complete the code. Okay, so I will save this, and this is my app.jsx. App.jsx that has been wrapped around this user provider. Okay, so whatever value that I'm passing over here, this name, age, city, state, country, whatever that is, that will be accessible to this component app. Okay, so now if I'm coming over here, I'm coming to my app.jsx. So what I will do is I will import the user context. Okay, so I will come over here and I will say something like import user context. Wait a minute. User context, and I'll be importing that from the this folder context. Okay, so my user context has been imported over here, and now my this user context has these variables which I want to make use of. So what I will do, I will make use of the use context too. So over here I have made use of the create context. Now I want to use this context. Okay, so I will come over here and I will say use context. Okay, I want to make use of this hook over here because I want to make use of the variables which I'm passing over here as a value. Okay, so I'll come over here and then this we can remove this. It is really not required over here. Then I will declare the variable constant. I will say I will make a curly braces over here. I will tell you why I'm doing this, and I will say use context. And instead of this use context, I will pass my user context, which I have imported. Okay, I have exported my user context from here, and I'm importing it over here and passing that variable over here. So now this use context variable which I've imported that will help me to access these variables, which are basically the name, age, city, and whatever is present over here. So I will import them over here like this. Whichever variables I want, I will import them. If you want, you can import all or whichever one you want. Okay. So now if we see the output which says context root, which is basically this header tag. Okay. So now I will make use of the paragraph tag and I want to show the name. So I will say this is my name and in curly braces I will pass on this variable known as name, and if I am going over here I'm seeing the name. Okay, so now if I want to show the age also, then I can do that. I will say this is my age and I will pass this age variable over here. Okay, so I can see my age also. So basically now the common question over here is why there was a need of making use of the this context. So context was basically it came into picture because if suppose there are multiple components, let me just show you on the example here only. FCE. So if suppose there is this component as a app1, wait, there is this component as a app1, and if suppose there is one more component as a app2, okay, and functions are basically working as the components over here. And if suppose there is a app3, and suppose app4 is there. Okay, so consider these are the four components. One component F1, F2 second component, F3 third component, F4 fourth component. Okay, so now let me just show you what will happen. This F2 is there. Okay, so basically this F1 component is internally inside of this. I'm calling the F2. Okay, right now these things might be a little confusing. Just give me some time. F4. Okay, so now consider this is the case where we have like a four components F1, F2, F3, F4, and F1 is calling F2, F2 component is calling F3, F3 component is calling the F4. Okay, and over here inside of all these components, let's suppose I'm making use of the variable. Okay, so let me just declare it. Whatever that is there over here on the top, just ignore it. Okay, as of now. So, what I will do over here, I will come and I will say constant. I will declare, I'm not getting anything in constant user, set user, I will say, and I will make use of use state hook, and I'm giving the name of the user as Akshay. Okay, so now if suppose I want to make use of this variable user in the fourth this F4 component, and all these components are internally calling each others. Okay, so if suppose I want to make use of that variable user variable inside of this F4, I have to pass it on from the F1 to F2, F2 to F3, F3 to F4, and after that inside of the F4 I will be able to make use of that user. So how we can do that was this user is there, so I will say user, and this is how I will pass that user from F1 to F2. Okay, and inside of this F2 I will import that variable user like this. Okay, so now I can access that variable user over here inside of this F2, but I want it inside of the F4. So what I will do again, I will pass on that user from here to here. Okay, and from here I can access that user inside of the F3 via this method. Okay, but I want it inside of the F4, so I will pass that user from here to the component F4. Okay, and now inside of the F4 I will be able to access that user like this. Then I will say something like hello, this is your user, and then I will be able to access that user like this. Okay, so this is the tedious process. We can't do that, and it's a time consuming and very tedious also, because we have to keep on passing the variable as a props to the child users or the child components, you can say. So in order to get rid of this, the concept of the use context came, and this is how we can provide that particular variable or whatever data globally via this global management method. And this is how the use context came into picture, and use context could be used along with the use state reducer hook also. So there is not much difference between the reducer hook and the context hook, but for small applications we can make use of the context hook. But if suppose the application is very large, we make use of the reducer hook, which we will see in the future classes. So this was all about how to make use of the context hook. Don't get confused because of this. example which I've shown, this is really not important. The only thing which you have to focus on is this use context. If you just practice it a little bit, you will understand what is going on over here. Okay, so that's all about the context rule, guys. Thanks for watching.